Yo, today we're talking about the ideal diet that you should be eating. I'm really just trying to get y'all right with the nutrition, literally what you should be eating. Number one, fasting. Yo, if I've talked about it once, I've talked about it 1,000 times. You need to be fasting out here, okay? I'm telling you that because what fasting is going to do, for one, and let me just give you the science. Increase BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. It's going to make you smarter. It opens up new neural pathways. It helps you connect and make new connections so you're smarter. Number two, it's going to increase HGH, human growth hormone, so you literally going to be growing out here and getting big as fuck. It's going to lower insulin, so that means that it's going to be harder to get fat. And not to mention, it's going to make you more disciplined, which means it's going to be easier to do the hard things that you don't necessarily want to do. So start fasting. Start with intermittent fasting. This means you eat in a window of 8 hours. Because I'm going to be real, the issue for a lot of y'all is that y'all are probably skinny fat or fat. So because of that, the issue for you is that you have too much weight and you need to lose some of this weight if you're trying to look good. Not only that, but if you're also just trying to feel good. So start fasting. So the way I recommend doing it is don't eat your first meal until noon and then stop eating by 8 o'clock at the latest. That's like the latest. Like as soon as that clock hits 8 o'clock, boom, you done. If you got food in your mouth, throw that shit out. I'm serious. So seriously, start fasting. That's the number one thing. That's made the biggest difference for me. It's helped me lose like 20 pounds like several times. It's a game changer. Number two, protein. High emphasis on protein. You want to be eating a lot of protein because protein has nutrients, it has amino acids. Literally what protein does is it builds your muscles. It builds your muscles, but not only that, it increases your metabolism. So that's why a lot of people that go on these carnivore diets, they find it hard to gain weight because all they're eating is protein, and protein is literally just, it's going to cut you up. It's going to make you big. Well, not necessarily huge, but it's going to cut you up. It's going to shred down all the fat because a lot of weight that people hold is in the form of water, which comes in carbs. So if you're eating carbs, if you're eating rice, pasta, oats, breads, you're going to be holding a lot of water weight, and that's going to make you look fat. So cut the carbs, increase the protein. Remember, 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Number three, fiber. When I'm talking about fiber, I'm talking about fruits and veggies. And people are about to be in the comments like, yo, but aren't fruits and veggies carbs? Yes, but they're different. With these type of carbs, they have fiber, so your body's gonna process it and you're gonna shit it out. That's the issue. A lot of y'all are eating these like processed like cupcakes, rice, pastas, grains. Your body doesn't really know what to do with that, so it just stores it as fat instead of getting it out of your system. And that's no bueno. So try to eat fruits. Get the apples, get the bananas, get the blueberries, get the raspberries, the strawberries, the zucchini, the squash, the spinach, the tomatoes, the onions, the mushrooms, all that good stuff. I'm telling you, not only that, but these have like little minerals and nutrients that literally it makes your skin glow, being so dead ass. That's why a lot of people on the vegan, the vegetarian diets, they look really like, they might not be the healthiest, don't get me wrong, because they're missing out on a lot of amino acids and nutrients from meat and a lot of protein as well. But their skin is flawless. I give them that. Number four, only use carbs if you're trying to bulk. The only time that you should be eating like the rice, and honestly, I wouldn't even eat pasta. The only carbs I would consider eating would be rice, potatoes, and sweet potatoes. The only time you should really be eating that is if you're trying to bulk, if you're trying to get big. If you're not trying to, if you're not at a point where you're lean and or skinny enough to bulk, don't eat them, especially if you're a guy, because it's just gonna make you hold too much weight. You're gonna get like a skinny fat look. You're gonna have a gut, and it's not the look. It's not ideal for your nutrition. Not to mention, when you eat a bunch of carbs, you get a carb crash. I'm serious, a carb crash. That's why a lot of y'all will be going through your day and then like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock will hit and you'll just feel like, oh, I need to take a nap. Me personally, I don't get that though, because when like my first meal, I usually eat my first meal nowadays at noon or 1 o'clock. Okay, and when I eat, I only eat protein. Only protein. Do I need to say it again? Only protein. No, seriously. So what I do is I'll usually I'll cook myself up in a couple eggs, a whole pound of beef, and I'll throw in a can of tuna or some sardines, and that's what I eat. I'll throw in some avocado as well. But what this does is when I eat it, I can literally go right back to work, and I don't feel the need to take a midday nap. I don't feel like I'm about to crash out. I don't feel low on energy. If anything, I get filled with a bunch of energy and I feel way better. Now, talking about the foods that you should avoid, this is really simple. You want to avoid processed food. This is anything that comes in a bag. Chips, cookies, candies, anything with a bunch of ingredient labels that you don't know what the fuck they mean or where the fuck they came from or how to even say them. Avoid. All the high fructose corn syrups, literally anything that you can buy in a store, the Oreos, the cereals, all that bullshit, cut it out immediately. Because not only that, these foods are filled with random ingredients, but they're filled with seed oils. That's going to take me to my next point. Avoid seed oils at all costs. Y'all, yesterday I had Chipotle. It was free, so I ate it. I did not feel good. I could feel the food like ruminating, just bubbling in my stomach. It felt awful. I felt awful. I literally just took a dump to shit it out because like it was bad. It was bad. But luckily it's out now and we done with Chipotle. But seriously, you need to avoid a bunch of seed oils because that's what most food is cooked in. When you go to restaurants, when you go to fast food, that's the issue with these foods. It's not actually the food itself. It's the fact that it's cooked in these seed oils, canola oil, vegetable oil, sunflower oil, palm oil. And this is going to inflame your body. And when your body is inflamed, that's where all diseases come from. Disease doesn't just magically start as some cell, some carcinogenic cell. No, it starts as a buildup. You start getting inflamed. Then your arteries start to get a little clogged. Then you might turn into diabetes. You'll get heart disease, coronary disease. It's a slippery slope. It's actually not that slippery because it's very easy to reverse. But the issue is a lot of people, from the time they're like 18 to the time they're like 40, they're eating the shit diet. And then by the time they're 40 now, that's when the heart issues, that's when the health issues really start popping up. So avoid fast foods, avoid seed oils at all costs. It's really going to inflame you. It's going to fuck you up and it's going to make you look like shit. And like I said, just avoid junk foods, avoid the processed foods, avoid the chips, the candies, the cookies. I call them the 3 C's. Anything that you can find in a store that's in a bag, anything that you think is good, you should probably avoid it. Because like I said, when you're eating good foods like eggs, beef, fish, like you can't overeat on these foods. It's very hard to gain weight when you're eating these type of foods. So for all my people out there that's struggling with their nutrition, remember, fasting, intermittent fasting, that's going to be the number 1 key. Number 2, eat high protein. I'm telling you, protein is a hack. Protein is going to get you big, it's going to increase your metabolism, and it's going to keep you full, so you're not going to feel the need to be eating all around the clock. On top of that, get your fiber, get your fruits and veggies. Literally, it's simple. If it don't come from nature, don't eat it, okay? Only use carbs if you're trying to bulk, and be prepared for a carb crash if you eat carbs. It's the simple truth of the fact. If you're cooking, only use clean cooking oils, coconut oil, olive oil, butter, ghee. Anything else is shit for you because it's probably going to be cooked in seed oils like canola oil, vegetable oil, palm oil, rice oil, and that shit is, it's going to make you feel like shit. It's going to inflame your body. It's going to give you disease. And of course, avoid the processed foods, avoid the fast food, avoid the restaurants foods, avoid junk food. And if y'all checked out my last video where I was talking about the fast food diet, you'll see how you can eat these foods and still, stay in decent shape. But you want to avoid these foods. The only time that you should ever be eating on that fast food diet is if you have no time, is if you don't have time to cook, you don't have time to clean, you don't have time to prep food, or maybe you don't have money, even though that's actually a lie because it's actually cheaper to eat real food than to go out and to eat for like 2 to 3 meals every single day. That makes 0 sense to me. That's a big lie. So there you have it. Just avoid the shit food, the junk food, the processed foods. Avoid the Doritos, the Pringles, man. Avoid those cakes, man. Avoid sandwiches. Just avoid all the shitty carbs. Only use carbs if you're trying to bulk. Eat your yams, your potatoes, and rice. Although I would go easy on rice because a lot of rice can be processed these days. But there you have it, y'all. If you need help with your diet or working out, I got free guides below in the links, so check that out. Don't forget, check out my last video where I was talking about how I learned to overcome negativity in practice, And don't forget, follow me on all my social medias on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, even though you're already watching this on YouTube, and X. And with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Suleiman. I'm out.